feature that has been added is actually one experiment, that is kubelet service skill. Uh, it is just an enhancement of our infra components. Uh, so we just divide, if we just divide the whole sets of experiments, we have application level experiments and some infra level experiments, which is actually node level. So it generally kills, it brings, the kubelet service skill brings the node into not ready state, and it will be, so we'll just start with that. We'll see what scenarios we get. One second. Yeah. So so this is right now I'm in a GKE cluster, which is a 3-node GKE cluster. Yeah. And just nothing installed in its fresh cluster. So I will just install Litmus. We'll just go to docs get started page and we'll click on Litmus install. We will get the latest version of Litmus installed. Use applying this command. So it will create everything, namespace, service, cluster rules. Those who are already there will reconfigure. Litmus namespace is visible. What pods are there? So operator is also in running state. So here I will just keep a watch over the nodes. Just keep a watch over the nodes, and here I'll just keep a watch over the pods and the pods. Okay, right now it's no resource there. So we will create a sample application for this experiment, and Nginx application I am going to deploy in default namespace. So you can see an Nginx application comes up in running state. Just add a label, not required. You can just give it. Okay, not required. We don't need to do that. So now just start with the experiment the same way which we used to do with all our experiments. We'll just create. We'll go to the hub. We'll see what is the procedure of that. So we'll select the generic experiment, and I'd like to see the kubelet service skill. So we just need to install the chaos experiment, just apply the RBAC, which will give the all the service account permissions for the experiment. It is actually a minimal set of permission which is required to run the experiment, and the chaos engine. Just need to install this stuff. So right now I'm having this here. I'm not copying it from the manifest, but we can do that thing also. Yeah. So I'm just installing RBAC first. And then I will install the experiment. We'll see the engine, what engine contains. So it is the, if you are not familiar, for the first time here, then engine actually have the information about the application on which you want to perform the chaos. It has annotations checks. It will be true for the application level chaos, pod level chaos, and it will help to control the blast radius. It will annotate it to the namespace, and then we will have application details. My application is Nginx with a label of run Nginx deployment monitoring and not disable and job cleanup policy false. You can keep it retain in place of delete if we want to debug and see the logs after the experiment. The service account which we created right now from RBAC is just placed here, and the only mandatory field is the number of the amount of chaos duration in seconds. So till this chaos duration, your experiment will go in, your experiment will execute. So now, yeah. So we already have kubelet service skill in our service account. So it's fine. Now we have to go and create the engine. So as soon as engine is created, a runner pod comes up. Which will create the application. Second. Which will create the application pod, which is kubelet service skill. So this application pod, this job pod will have the logic to go and kill a kubelet service for the specified duration, like I show you here. It's for 90 seconds right now. So what it will do, it will just check the application on which node it is running. It will go to the node and kill the kubelet service for 90 seconds. And it will be a good thing to test how your application is performing in such a situation, how it's recovering. So till that period, it's not accessible, your application pod. So for a larger chaos duration, how it's performing, these things can be, so these tests can be performed over your application. So we wait for some few seconds. It will, and we will just see a not ready state of node.
So one interesting aspect is a lot of managed Kubernetes solutions have service monitors already created in them, and they tend to sort of bring the service back immediately, especially for critical services. So we are in the process of trying to expand the support for this test on different platforms. Right now, it's support from GKE and AWS, where the service monitors have been inhibited to sort of react during this time. But that's something that will be extended to other platforms as well. One of the very interesting targets of this particular experiment, or ones that might really be needing this experiment, is stateful applications. So most of the stateful applications have some kind of a persistent volume they are configured with, and oftentimes it needs a little bit of time for this volume to get detached from the node that you're trying to do the chaos on to the other node where it gets reattached, and then the application sort of comes up there. So this is a little bit of a time-consuming process. So it's interesting to see how downstream applications will behave under these kind of conditions, especially for stateful applications. So this experiment might particularly be useful there.
Yeah, so we get our nodes in not ready state, and this is the service skill helper pod, which is helping us to bring this node back in not ready state. Why it doesn't come in this previous step was because of the wrong information I passed in the application level. You just pass the correct information, you get that. Yeah, you can continue, Karthik. So sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, no problem, Udit. Thanks. Yeah, so like Udit mentioned, you can see the node has gone into not ready state, and the expectation is for the pods to get rescheduled. And like Balkrishna mentioned, we see that happening sometimes, we see that it doesn't. It's also interesting what kind of toleration policies we've set up on the deployments. many times it's set to the default of 300 seconds. It's basically waiting for 300 seconds after the node goes into not ready before it reschedules. So it's like an additional period of trying to wait for the guy to recover. Some kind of self-recovery is expected. If it doesn't happen after 300 seconds, your pod might get rescheduled. And sometimes that also does not happen. Your pod might sort of get stuck in an unknown state. So this is where your real trouble sorts of comes. And unless you have your deployment or stateful set configured in a way so as to sustain or tolerate these kind of failures by having multiple replicas and having similar such measures, you might not be able to maintain access to a downstream app depending upon the pods that sort of have gone into that state. So it's a really interesting scenario, and the blast radius of this experiment is typically high. You can see that whenever the node goes into not ready, not just one or two services, but a lot of services get impacted. So in the Litmus experiments, you typically have experiments categorized, like Udit mentioned some time back, app level and infra level experiments. And you can just rephrase that as pod level and node level experiments. So pod level experiments are generally very isolated failures. They have a smaller blast radius. You can see that a very small circle of apps may get impacted. Some downstream app, depending on that app, might get impacted, yes, but still the limit is small. But with node failures, it so happens that a lot of services are impacted, and often these are pretty unpredictable. So the 21 days is a really interesting pattern. Really might be worth seeing sort of any other system characteristics or events happening, some kind of scheduled action on the cluster which might be leading into this, but that's really interesting to hear. So this experiment, you could probably do it in staging and development clusters first. The pod level experiments are something that you could readily do on production if you have the right number of replicas already. That's something that you might adopt to more quickly on production. But these experiments like kubelet, service kill, node drain, taint-based evictions of all pods, that's another way of shutting down a node. So these kind of tests that are happening at the node level is something that you might want to be careful about and do it a lot of times on your internal environments before you take it out and do it on a cluster which is being used publicly. So yeah, we as a team, as a community, really welcome feedback around what tests that you might like to add on the infra side. I think the suite of tests on the infra side is sort of steadily increasing. We have node and we have CPU and memory hog tests at the node level using the popular stress package. So Litmus spins up some helper pods on the targeted nodes and consumes resources. So that's also there on the infra side. Please take a look at the Chaos Hub and you can start running these experiments locally. And oftentimes it's good to have monitoring. As a team, we're also trying to add that with the Litmus portal, like Ma mentioned. We will be adding capabilities to monitor your environments and probably be more proactively notified about failures that are happening. There are different ways, different open source tools also that you can adopt today to get notified about failures. A lot of tools that are there, KubeWatch, BotCube, and a lot of others. Or you can set up Prometheus alert managers. You could have Prometheus, mostly you might be using it already for other purposes for collecting metrics and displaying them on Grafana. You can also set up alert manager and alert manager has a lot of integrations with email, Slack, etc. And you could keep getting notified about incidents that are happening. And you can go take a look very quickly. You can respond to these alerts that you get to sort of try and get your system up as early as possible. It's also a good idea to set up auto scaling. So these are all some best practices. Let's say your kubelet is down and your node went into not ready state, right? And it's not required for a long time. The amount of traffic that your surviving replicas are receiving on the other nodes might increase. That might actually increase the resource usage on the other nodes. So that means you need to even it out in some way. So auto scaling is a good measure. node level auto scaling, you can do it. You can set up horizontal pod auto scalers to sort of spawn more pods on any available nodes which are there, so that you can start distributing your traffic once again until this node recovers. So these are some of the measures that you can take. So Litmus helps you to, or generally chaos engineering helps you to determine two things. One is your software bugs within your microservices. That's one thing that gets exposed. But it is also a very good tool to expose some deficiencies in your deployment practices. You might not have had the right number of replicas, might not have had the right amount of resources provided into certain applications, might not have had the right security context set for some of the applications, right? You might not have set up auto scaler, these kind of things. So these are all good things that will get exposed via these experiments. So you could always see how your applications are behaving on your cluster. Monitoring is a really important aid with chaos. That's something we are focusing on, and I'll just introduce you very briefly to some of the initiatives that we've taken. Even as the portal comes up, there are some monitoring aids or recommendations that Litmus is making. Not something that as a community we've built newly, but something that we're trying to adopt from what is already there in the open source. So please feel free to take a look. A lot of SREs are there on this, and a lot of DevOps folks are there on this call. So you might suggest better ways to improve the monitoring story around this as well. So let me just share my screen.